Hello, guys and girls. Welcome to the podcast.
Welcome.
What do you want to talk about tonight, Hayden?
I don't know. What do you want to talk about?
I don't know. You want to talk about hunting or fishing?
Well, it's kind of springtime, so maybe hunting,
Hunting,
fishing, kind of
fishing.
both. More fishing. It's more summertime. Or we can talk about past turkey. Well, it's turkey season's over,
We
but
can talk. I want to hear your story of what you thought of my hunt.
your hunt.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll tell it at the end.
All right.
But
Well,
anyways, here we are. It's
May 30th.
May 30th. I was trying to find out the date, but I couldn't think of it.
Pretty sure. It's
um,
May 30th.
so, what do you want to talk about?
I guess we're going fishing tomorrow. We're going to try if it don't storm us out.
Yeah, that's what we're hoping on.
Yeah.
That's going over to the little lake down here and hoping to get some big old bass.
Yeah, your dad caught a pretty good one out there the
The
other
other
day.
day when we went down there, it's like what was it, like 3.87 or something like that.
Yeah, it was pretty big.
Yeah, it's a pretty good sized bass. Wasn't like a PB or nothing like that, but it was a good
It was a
bass,
good bass.
especially for the lake being flooded.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
like, what, 6 foot deep or over?
yeah, it's like 6, 7 foot over than what it normally is.
Yeah.
So I mean, but yeah,
I don't know, fishing's kind of hard to talk about.
fishing's kind of hard to talk about unless you just have like a crazy story.
Well,
You just be like my grandpa says. He always says that he don't know how much the fish weighed, but picture
picture.
weighs about 10 pounds. So
Oh, we went and tried to look at some boats tonight, and we got to one old guy's house, and he would not shut up about his boat. He just thought it was the greatest thing ever.
it was. I mean, it was a good boat and it was a good price, but he told the same story like
He
five
told it
times.
5 times.
Yeah, and every time we tried to tell him like, okay,
He
well,
interrupted me
yeah,
so much.
yes, like Michael would go to say like something like, yeah, we'll think about it, or we're fixing to leave, and then he'd start over the story
Yeah.
again, and he'd be like, well, this
I
he
put that drain plug in back there, stop water from coming in the
yeah.
boat.
He used different language, but he'd be like, "Yeah, this darn thing."
Yeah.
He'd get up, go about 32 mile an hour. He said that it's got a 60 horse motor on it, but they're supposed to come at factory 50 or
It
40.
was 70s what the factory was,
Well,
I think.
no, 70 is what they can hold. That's the
Oh,
max. And he's like, "Yeah, they're supposed to come with 50 or 40 or something like that, and it's got a 60 on it, and it'll go this speed and everything." And it was just one thing from the next, and it was really
that was a good crack.
it was yeah. At the first time it was, and after that, about the third or fourth time of telling it, it got kind of old.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I don't know. There's our daily dose there.
what did we do today?
Yeah.
We went to another little lake around here, and it's crap. Used to,
Yeah.
when I remember when I was little, we used to go there and catch a bunch of fish, and now it's just crap.
There's more turtles than we seen fish.
Right. We didn't even catch a turtle either.
Yeah, we
Well,
didn't even.
actually, we did catch that one turtle
Yeah.
on the side of the road. He was walking past, we went by and petted him.
The duck was huge.
Yeah, he was huge. He was like the size of both of my hands. And I don't know if you ever met me or not, but I got pretty big hands.
Mm-hmm.
They're not massive, but they're bigger than average.
Oh.
Anyway,
Anyway, we found another lake. We're gonna go fish again. It's 460 acres.
it's 407 at the least, and I didn't map it out like direct, like exactly. I just went like
Yeah.
I just do like a little bit of a point in the coves and stuff. So if I was gonna guess, it's about 420 acre lake.
Yeah.
It's massive.
It's bigger than what we're used to.
Yeah, I use my dad's little boat, and it floats good. It floats really good.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a 55-pound thrust trolling motor and all that. No, it was getting pushed around and whipped around out there. Normally we can get up and go in that little boat, and or it's a little fiberglass boat. I mean, it floats perfect. And normally we can get up and go with the 55 thrust trolling motor, but this one, it was getting pushed around like that.
Yeah, it wasn't very fun, especially when the water started white capping.
Right. Uh,
Well,
he told me I couldn't make one type of joke, and I was about to. That's what the silence was.
yeah,
Is I was about to make that joke, and I stopped myself. It's not bad.
yeah,
If you know, you know.
yeah.
Anyway,
If you know what happened, oh,
about a week
it
ago.
was a week ago today
Yeah, we could today.
at 2 o'clock. I did something really stupid.
So if you know, you know.
Yeah.
But if you don't, you don't.
It
It's pretty funny. I'm pestering the whole time.
sucks.
But
Okay. I killed a turkey this year
okay, yeah.
on opening day
Opening day of
turkey
turkey
season.
hunt, Arkansas turkey hunt.
And it took 5 minutes. I want to hear your side of that, and then I'll tell my side.
Okay, so we get up this morning. And he comes out and stays at the house, and we get up. We get up. I don't know what time we get up, like four
It was
something.
early,
Yeah, we got up early because we had to, from where I live at to where he hunts at is like a what 30-40 minute drive.
probably 30 minutes.
Yeah, and so we wanted enough time to get up there way before daylight. Well, I guess a lot of people try to hunt right there.
Yeah, that
And
turkey
so,
was right off the side of the road.
anyways, so we get up there and we park the truck right there on the side of the road, and it's kind of like a trail. I guess you walk down like a fuller trail, like a burn trail or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And we get out there, and I'm filming for him and everything, and he's gonna try to get him a turkey. And there's a big old gobbler right there. I mean, big gobbler. And so we get out there and we call around, and the wind's blowing a little bit and everything, and I can already feel it that there's something gonna be up. It's not gonna go as we planned. So we get out, we walk down there a little bit, call, walk a little ways, call, go down there and walk a little ways and call, and nothing. So, thinking, hey, where's this turkey at? He was just here. So we go back to the truck, and we walk across the road on the other side, thinking, maybe he's down on that bench on the other side. And so we go down there, nothing. Call a little bit, nothing. And so we go load up in the truck, don't know what to do. And Michael looks over and he's like, hey, I got this other spot down here on this road. Let's go try it. So we take off and hit this dirt road up there. And we got out, everybody over 100 yards?
I think about 4 or 5 times.
Yeah, 4 or 5 times we get out and we walk off the edge of the road and call a little bit just to see if we hear one. And I think it's like the third time, fourth time.
It's the very last time.
The very last, yeah, obviously the last time. Last time we get out down there and I mean, open the truck door and just,
Yeah.
I mean, he
Nuts.
was right there. So we get our stuff on. And I grab the camera and everything, and he calls a little bit, and he was coming at that point.
Oh yeah, he was fired up.
Yeah, he was fired up, gobbling his head off. And so we jump up out of the truck, we cross the road, and get up on this hilltop right there. I don't know what you'd call it, just hilltop.
Kind of a knob.
Kind of a knob, yeah. On the other side, it drops off down in this holler, a big ridge and everything. Well, we get right on top of it, and we sit down, and I get all the filming stuff set up, and I'm about ready to go, and he's like, well, let's move down here.
Yeah.
Anyways, and at this point, I mean, he's just blowing up just down there. He's and we get down there and we sit down beside this old dead tree. It's burned up and everything. They look like they burned it not too long ago.
Mhm.
And I get the filming stuff set up and everything. Micah's like, "Hey, you ready?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm ready." And got it pointed right to where an opening where I think he's gonna shoot. That's what I'm hoping on. I was like, "Man, if I miss this shot, I'm gonna shoot myself or something." And anyways, and he calls one last time. Mouth call, just a slap, and just excuse my bad calling, but and here he come, and I mean you could see him, and there he come. He topped the hilltop, and I seen his head, and I was like, "You see him?" I was like, "Yeah, I see him. He's right there." And he's like, "Okay, when he gets out here, I'm gonna shoot him." And so he's just blowing his head off, and he gets out, and it's a little bit of an opening, and he steps behind this tree, and I see Michael move over, and I was thinking, man, he's gonna see that. But I guess from where Michael was at, he was behind a tree, so he couldn't see him. And all of a sudden, he steps out on this other side and goes into a strut, and I mean, just a blowed up strut, just boom, right there. And about the time he hit full blowed up position, just boom, and there he goes, drops on the ground. He flops a little bit, but not. By the time we got down there, he's done flopping.
Yeah, he was
like,
done
he was
flopping.
dead. I mean, you nailed him.
Yeah.
And I counted 40 something steps, so he's probably right around 40 yards.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was the fastest turkey hunt I've ever been on.
And it was so beautiful in there with that burn.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was perfect back off in there. It's perfect picture terrain, everything. And there's a video of it on we got it posted on the podcast channel and on Michael's YouTube. You have to go check it out and watch it. But anyway, yeah, I mean, it was just perfect. Like, from the point we got out of the truck to by the time we killed the turkey,
It literally took 5 minutes.
Yeah,
I mean,
if
it
was over 10 minutes, I'd be surprised. Like
Yeah.
by the time we got set down and everything, he was. I mean, like
Yeah.
that. He was fired up, ready to go. And I don't think if we wouldn't have come down on that one ridge, I don't think we'd ever.
I don't think we'd ever seen him. I think he'd have got up on top of that knob and just stayed there and looked around. But I don't think we'd ever been able to kill him.
From where we were sitting at, I think we didn't have very much cover. I think he would have stopped right there at that knob, seen us, and blown him.
And the good thing about that tree was it had a bunch of blackberry bushes that were dead
Mm-hmm.
around it, so it gave us some more cover. And that's why I moved my gun around.
Right. He was behind that tree and everything. It couldn't have been any more perfect. Like
Yeah.
it was just a perfect hunt.
And when he come up over that hill, the sun was shining through his fan, and I was like, "Oh man, that's
Yeah.
just beautiful."
If you go watch the video, you have to look closely by the time we get to the second set down. Because when we set down, you just gotta look closely because if not, you'll miss him. But once he comes out, you can see his full. When as soon as he hits the blowed up strut, he gobbles and blows up like that. You know how if you ever been turkey hunting, you know how they do. They'll hit their fan on the ground and
Hmm.
it'll make like a dragging noise. As soon as he did that, boom, and
Yeah.
there he was. It was over for him.
And like the thing with it, I didn't see him. You seen him first,
Yeah.
and like you was like, "Oh, I hear him drumming," and I was like, "I don't hear nothing." And then it wasn't no time at all. And you was like, "I see his head," and I was like, "Where are you looking?" And then I like pull my eyes over to you, and I look back down there where you was at, and I was like, "Oh, well, there, he's right there."
Yeah, he was coming up through there fast. He wasn't wasting no time. He was
Yeah,
coming to get him
he wants
some
some
loving.
loving.
Yeah.
But there was this little twig that had a Y in it, and I had my gun on the right side of it because I didn't know where he was going to come up at. And when he showed up over there, I was like, well, darn. But there was a big oak tree that he walked behind. And I had that, I mean, I'd had just a nick of time to move my gun before he could see it. So I got lucky.
You got lucky done.
I had 11-inch beard, inch and a half spurs.
Yeah, he was a big turkey. My turkey, what was mine was 10 and a
Yeah,
quarter, 10 and a half.
I was
I think
just
it's 10
10
and
and
a
a
half.
half.
And he was pretty good. He had like a quarter inch spurs. He wasn't very big. No, they're half-inch spurs.
Yeah.
Not quarter inch, but half-inch. There's almost 3/4, but just didn't really make it.
Mine was the biggest spurred turkey I've seen around here.
Here in Arkansas, we really don't have the biggest spurred
Mm-mm.
turkeys. We
I
don't
was
have
very
very many
big
like
beard. We didn't, just ain't got very many turkeys.
yeah. That's one of our problems. This last couple of years, we've had good
Yeah.
hatches though.
We've had a good hatch up here in the mountains.
Yeah, like I think I seen some the other day, and I counted, which these were young jakes. They were last
Yeah.
year's birds, and I think I seen like 6 or 7 jakes together.
Hmm.
And I've seen several groups like that. Last year's birds, barely even a beard on them.
Yeah.
Just barely big enough
I
to
mean,
count
it's
a
like
turkey.
the very last day, graduation day. I graduated May 5th, which is the last day of turkey season. And I went that morning
Yeah,
and called in that Super Jake and then two or three. I think there was four Jakes with the Super Jake. And I would have shot that thing if he wouldn't have strutted, and I'd have really been in trouble then.
yeah,
I was glad I waited.
yeah. That day that my hunt, which I was still youth at the time. I'm 15, and
It was the last one.
it was my last youth hunt, anyways. And it was the last day of the youth hunt. I think it was Sunday morning, wasn't it? Sunday or Saturday? Yeah, Sunday
This
morning.
Sunday.
And me and Dad get up. We get up there in the morning, and we finally get one to gobble. And I mean, I know he's a tom. I just hear him. You can tell a tom gobble from a jake.
Yeah, they ain't got
They
that
got they
yodel to them.
yeah, they don't got that rumble, and they don't have that heart pounding kind of you know. And so I knew it, and you could just barely hit him. The wind was blowing and everything. And so me and Dad take off around this ridge, and we follow that ridge out, and we come out to the point of it. And when we sit down trying to call him in, uh, we didn't wasn't looking good enough, and the decoy was out there about 20 yards, and right where the decoy was, it dropped off right after that. And
Mm-hmm.
me and Dad didn't see that until we got sat down up there. We didn't recognize that, realize it.
Mm-hmm.
And so we get up there, and they come gobbling, and I'm sitting to the right of Dad, and Dad's sitting to my left. If you're sitting where I was sitting, and it was around this big old, I think it was a big old oak tree. So I think it was like a red oak or something like that. No, it wasn't a red oak. It was like a black oak or something like that. I don't remember. Anyways, and we're sitting there, and three, the three jakes is what it was. They come up with. I mean, it sounded like he was right there at that point. I was like, man, he's made some tracks.
Yeah,
And anyways, they would not come over that. They could see that decoy, and what's bad about that decoy is it'll draw them in, but once they get close to it,
they can
there's
tell it's fake.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
not a very good decoy. It's just a cheap one, and we didn't have time to blow up the good one, so we just threw that one out there. Anyway, and Dad's like, "All of them are just jakes. Do you want to shoot one?" I was like, "Well, I'd like a tom, but I'd shoot a jake. It's my last time to shoot a jake." And he's like, "All right, well, they would never top up," and they went all the way around. And where we was hunting at, there's just like a little bit of an open area. It kind of looks like an old field or something like that, but I really can't tell. It's
Yeah.
got pines and stuff growing in it. And they go out around us, and they go up in that area and everything. And so me and Dad stand up, and I can still kind of hear that one behind us faintly gobbling.
Mm-hmm.
Man. And Dad's like, I don't think we'll ever get him over here.
probably had hens too.
Yeah. And so, anyways, and he wasn't gobbling a lot. It just every once in a while you just hear him. It's
Yeah.
a lie. I mean, just barely could hear him. And me and Dad standing there, and we're standing in this corner, and we're standing behind this tree, and it's got a big Y in it. And he's standing on one side, and I'm standing on the other, and we're watching these jakes out there. They're probably 40, 50 yards. I mean, we're just looking at them.
Mhm.
They not bothered by us. And all of a sudden, just, I mean, it was right there. And I mean, it scared the crap out of me. I wasn't expecting it,
Yeah.
at the time, because, Jake gobble, it's just,
Yeah.
sounds like, what's that, Big Hero 6 or something like that? Just, that's what it sounds like. Anyways, and but this Tom, he was right there, thundering. And so me and Dad, I mean, as soon as I heard it, Dad turns around like big eyed, and we both drop down, and he starts calling, and here that thing comes at the other side of this like open area,
Mhm.
and it comes out, and I can see it. I'm like, Dad, there it is. He's like, all right, get up, get ready, get ready. And at that point, I was already ready. I was like, I know
Yeah.
what you're talking about.
I
I'm
don't know
ready.
what you're waiting on, but I'm ready to kill this thing.
Anyways, and I was using Dad's old Mossberg 500 TSS shot 3-inch, and that thing, I mean, you can shoot a bird.
Been a lot of
80.
turkeys killed with the Mossberg 500.
Yeah, you can shoot a bird 80 yards with one of them things, no
Yeah.
problem. And so here he come, and at first, he was going to them jakes, and Dad leaned over and he said, I don't think you're going to kill this one. And he's like, nearly 99% of the time, a Tom will go whoop off a jake before he'll come to an end,
Mhm.
just because they just want to beat the jake.
Yeah.
And so at that point, I just started praying. I was like, Lord, please. Dad said it's going to take a miracle. Like, you better start praying. I was like, I'm already on it. I've already been praying.
Yeah.
So I started praying. I was like, Lord, please, just turn that turkey over here. Just turn him just one time, please, Lord. And, and all of a sudden, that Jake or that Tom went from running to them Jakes and just turned a hard right. And I mean, coming
Dang.
dead to us. And I mean, he's just running out there. And if you ever watch a turkey run, it's the funniest
They kind
thing.
of kick their feet out.
Yeah,
to the
it's
side.
funny to watch them run, and they just start their body shaking and
Yeah.
everything. And here he come through the brush and everything, and he circled around these group of pine trees. And Dad's like, when he comes out on the other side, shoot him. Well, he never did slow down enough right there. And he come out on that other side, and there's this log laying over, and he come out right on over to the side of it, and I could just see his head. And Dad's like, "Are you ready?" And about that time, I was on him, and
Yeah.
I was ready already. I seen Dad lean over, and I was like, "Well, you better just move." Boom! No, he just warped the ground. Me and Dad jump up and take off running over to him, and we walked it back, and I think it was like 56, 55 steps.
Man.
So he's out there probably 50, 60
Yeah.
yards. He was way out there. And I mean, laid him over. When we got out there, he flopped once or twice right there, and that was it. By the time we got out there, he was dead.
Yeah.
But it was the best hunt of my life.
Oh, I
For being
bet.
my last youth hunt, I
Yeah.
was pumped. Like, by the time we got back to the Jeep, I was still like heart pumping, like racing.
Yeah.
It was over like a 300-yard walk too, and I was still just pumped up.
My last youth hunt during turkey season didn't go too well. I ended up missing 2 big long beards in the same day.
Dang.
And it was awful. I almost said I was going to quit turkey hunting forever.
I don't know. I might have.
I missed too many dang things.
You didn't miss this one though.
I didn't miss this
you
last
killed.
one. Nope. Or the year before last, I didn't miss.
Smoked a big one.
Yeah, I've killed 2 big turkeys the last 2 years.
You heard about the new deer season thing? Velvet
I'm
hunt and
ready
stuff?
for that, dude.
Yeah, the velvet hunt.
I've got a freaking tank found from last year. I'm ready to get on that deer.
I'm hoping to find a good one to kill in velvet, because I don't want to kill like a spot. in
Yeah.
velvet.
I mean,
It'll
if
have to
it's
be-
the last day, maybe.
Yeah, the last day probably, but unless not, then I want to try to find a pretty good size one to kill in velvet.
Yeah.
That's
mean,
my
there-
goal.
There should be some videos coming out on that too, but that's
That's later on in the year.
That's what? It's the 6th almost.
Yeah, 6th of September, something like that.
So 3 more months.
3 more months.
Yeah, dude,
almost
it's
June.
getting close.
Yeah, I'm ready for it. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Been waiting all year.
We get a 3-day velvet hunt here in Arkansas this year.
Beginning of September. It's gonna be awesome.
It's like the 7th or 8th, 9th, and 10th, or 7th, 8th, and 9th, something like that.
I'm stoked for it.
Because them deer are going to be way more patternable.
Yeah.
And I mean, if my big one starts showing up and he ain't got velvet on, and he's real consistent, which he was last year, I'm going to go kill him.
Right.
I'm not going to wait. I mean, I don't care if he's got velvet or not.
It's not really even just a velvet. It's so you can kill velvet, but they don't have to be in velvet.
Yeah.
If you see one without velvet, you can obviously.
Oh,
kill
yeah.
it.
I mean, if my PB walks out and he ain't got velvet on his head, I'm shooting him.
My goal this year is break the 100-inch mark.
Yeah.
I think my biggest deer hit like 50, I think that it was a 7 point.
That 7 point was only 50 inches.
It
It
probably
looks bigger than
it's
that.
probably bigger than that. I just never measured it. It wasn't big enough to measure it.
Yeah.
And then I got unicorn. It's a 5 point on one, and it you would think it had like a big main beam, but no, it's like one like it looks like a
It's
spike with
just a
just
big dagger with 5
yeah
on it.
yeah. It's got like 3 point. Like have you ever seen like a what's that like a sawtooth oak or something like that?
Yeah.
The tip of the leaf like that,
Yeah.
and then it has two more at the bottom that kick off.
Almost looks like a roe deer.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, and
Yeah.
it's like 5 inches long.
And there wasn't even a spot for a horn on the other side, was
No,
there?
it was just gone.
I didn't think so.
Yeah, so it's a 5 point unicorn. It's pretty awesome.
And then
But
you got me on the other hand, which I've killed 3 over 120.
yeah,
I've killed 2 over 125.
you're a little older than me though, so you got
I'm
more
only
time.
4 years older than you.
Yeah, I'm 15 and you're 18.
Yeah.
So
Oh, so that's 3. That's
3
not even as
years.
bad as I thought.
Yeah, so
I
just give
just
me a
I
while.
killed my first 120 when I was 15.
I'm still 15 right now. I
Yeah.
won't turn 16 till January,
Yeah.
so this could be the year.
It could be.
It could be the
And
year.
with me and you hunt together, if you hunt with me enough, you'll kill one.
Yeah,
I passed the 130 last year, which I was stupid for.
yeah, I'd have kicked you for that.
That was a
We need to
crazy
go try
morning.
to, because I'm pretty sure that over there towards where my family is at,
Hmm?
that mountain over there, I'm pretty sure you can hunt it bow season.
Oh, really?
So we need to go see if we can hunt it bow season.
Yeah,
Because
that'd
it
be
would be fun
awesome.
to hunt. And I know some good spots over there.
Yeah.
My dad might get mad at us if he draws a rifle tag and finds out that we've been hunting over there with bows, but
He'll get over it.
he'll get over it.
Yeah. But this year, I've got possibly, more than likely, 2 out-of-state hunts
Yeah.
coming up, Missouri and Illinois. And hopefully, Hayden can go with me to Missouri.
That's going to be awesome, the Missouri hunt.
Yeah.
I'm hoping to go to it. That would be awesome.
I went up there, not last year, but the year before last, and met a good buddy up there. And he was talking to me, and we both knew about this really, really big deer. I went up there with 2 of my buddies, and we both knew this, like, super freaky. I know what he scored, and I'll say this at the end of this. But I thought, sure as the world, he'll break 200 inches. I mean, I've never seen a deer that big,
Right.
ever. They just don't get that big around here in Arkansas.
Right.
And the first day we get up there, there's a CRP field on this public piece, and then there's some bean fields in the bottoms that are public. 2 of them's public, and then all the rest of them private. And I didn't have no permission because it was my first year up there.
Right.
And I walked down in the CRP field, and there's little shrubs out there, and they look like they've just been tore apart. I mean, it looks like you just took a machete down there and just like
Hacked away.
waxed on them. I mean, it was bad.
Just I had been down there.
And so I walk on down in this creek bottom, and most of the creek bottoms have trees growing in them still, I guess to help with erosion. And I get down there, and there's a cedar tree about the size of my leg, which is about 2 liter pop bottle size.
Right.
And it's just thrashed. I mean, just wore out from top to bottom. And I was like, okay, I know there's got to be a bigger deer than what I'm used to seeing and back home down here. So I walk on down, and there's an intersection on this creek where 2 other creeks run into it, and then there's a point kind of that runs out, and there's a big giant deer trail that crosses the creek. And the creek was dry because it was a bad drought that year, and there was a scrape on the end of that point, and I was like, well, right here's where I'm gonna hunt and put my camera at. So I put a camera up on it, a cell cam, and I went on down the creek and found an old Fuller's road, and I walked it around and found some more scrapes on it, but they weren't nothing. I mean, that one in the creek bottom looked like it'd been dug out with a dozer. I mean, it was a big scrape,
Right.
about the size of a car hood. I get back to camp that night, and Trent and Cody, they hadn't really seen very much, and I mean, Cody found one pretty good spot, but ended up having a bunch of little tiny deer in it, and then Trent found a pretty good spot. And Trent might have killed a deer. I don't know if Trent killed one the first night or not. I think he did. He killed a doe the first night.
Always in Missouri to kill a doe.
I'm telling you, them deer taste better though than they do down here.
I bet so. They live off of beans and
Yeah,
corn and stuff.
that Iowa deer Jason killed tastes amazing.
I bet so. They ain't raised off of acorns and stuff like they are down
Yeah.
here.
So
Them
anyway,
there's some big old fat deer.
I get back to camp, and they'd both had a successful day and found some good sign. And I'm sitting in the truck that night, and my phone goes off, and it was a multi-mobile notification. And I was like, no way, this thing's already got pictures on it. And I was like, well, is this going to be leaves blowing on it? And I look at it, and I was like, oh my gosh, like a super freak 12 point with like four kickers off his G2, and he had a big kicker off his G4, which I've never seen, like a 4 inch, 4 or 5 inch dagger coming off his G4. I mean, I was like, this deer cannot exist ever in the United States. I thought it was a new world record. I mean, I just had never seen deer that big, and I was like, this thing will break 200 inches, sure as the world. And one of the guys that lived next, that owns some private below that CRP field, um, they were they knew about this deer. I guess they'd seen it in their fields during the summer during velvet and everything. And I ended up meeting up with him, and he was a super nice guy. And I'm not going to say his name, but super nice guy. And I ended up talking to him for a little bit, and we made like I consider him one of my buddies now. And we both were hunting him, and he was hunting him on the private, and I was hunting him on the public. And but he was bedding on the public, but he was going to the private fields, and he was staying a lot of time in the private. And then late one evening, I'm sitting in this bean field. I'm sitting on in the CRP over the scrape, and here comes this. I mean, just a thumper of an 8 point, like a 140-inch 8 point. I mean, just a dog of a deer, big old wide joker, heavy horned, got a bunch of points, and he walks down the creek, and I mean, he just comes right to the scrape, and I'm sitting there in my saddle, and I'm shaking because I tore up. And I grabbed my bow off the hanger, and I even drawed back on him, but I was like, man, I can't do this. I got one buck tag, and there's a 200-inch deer floating around here. I can't do this the second day I'm hunting in here. And so he walked on off, and I seen two more spikes, and then I seen like 13 does that evening. And so I go back to camp, and my buddies were asking me, they're like, well, what did you see tonight? And I think Cody shot a little buck that day, like a 6 or 7 point. It wasn't very big, like a 100-inch deer. And I said, well, I seen about a 140-inch 8 point, let him walk. And I showed him the video off my phone of the deer walking underneath my tree. And they were both like, why did not you not shoot that deer? And I was like, I'm not saying why, but I got a really good reason. And they knew at that time that, like, oh, hey, he's probably got a big one found.
Yeah.
And we'd seen the deer on the way into that piece of public on the private that guy was hunting. And so I get that guy's number, and he texts me like the last day I'm leaving, and I had a picture of him that night, and he had a picture of him in daylight, but he wasn't hunting there that morning. So I was like, man. And then I ended up hunting there that evening and seen him again. I actually seen him for the first time ever. The first time I ever laying my eyes on a 200-inch deer. Them things look huge. Like,
Yeah.
they look like an elk walking through the woods.
No doubt.
The 140 looked huge to me. I'm not used to deer that big.
No.
And the 200-inch walks the ridge top. The one trail I was not set up to shoot, he walks right down the ridge top and drops off the point, walks on the far side of the other creek, and then walks down the creek into the bean field, and never to be seen again, so I thought. So we get back to the truck that night, and we was like, well, we'll load up and go back home because it's getting close to no, it was almost Halloween, and I
Yeah.
didn't want to miss the squirrel fry up at church.
Right.
And I was like, well, I need to go home anyway. So we load the truck up, and we's in the very top part of Missouri, and we get to Springfield, Missouri, and I get a picture sent to me by that guy.
Ah.
He's like, I got him. And I was like, and he was like, yeah. I said, and it was, at that time, it was probably 8 o'clock in the morning, so it was good legal light.
Right.
And I was like, well, he didn't spotlight him because it's still plenty of daylight, and the picture was in daylight that morning. And I mean, it was just a freaking just heartbreaker. And the deer had somehow that day broke his main beam off right past his G3. So he broke that big dagger off his G4. He broke his G4 and he broke his G5, and he still scored 192 in 4/8. So that was a 200-inch deer I hunted.
Yeah.
That's just scary for me to know that.
And he's probably way over 200 too, because if you think it's G4, it's G5, and the rest of his main beam.
Yeah. And that
That's
big dagger sticking off of that G4, like, that's probably 4 or 5 inches. I know at least. I would say his G4 was like 5 inches in itself.
5. So you think of that? Well, let's add it up. So 5, 6. Say his G4 was 6, and his G5 was 5, and then say like a 4-inch dagger. So what's
And I'd
that?
say he had like another 7 or 8 inches of main beam.
Hold on, let me get my calculator out.
That's a big boy
We're about
math.
to figure this out. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna take 192. Now plus
Plus
that by
6,
6,
plus 5,
plus 5,
plus 4,
plus 4,
plus 8.
plus 8. 215. So he was probably about 215, 220 deer.
That's sickening.
Yeah, like down here in Arkansas, if you kill a 140, you're doing something big.
Oh
Like
yeah, I mean, I know a guy up on the mountain that kills 160s pretty consistently, but it's just
that's
because he knows what he's doing.
yeah, that's he's got the land for
Yeah,
it. Like he just got the luck, I guess. But yeah, down here in Arkansas, if you get much over 140, that's a huge deer.
yeah. So
You
I
know,
went home empty-handed with a
missing a
really
200
big deer
deer,
picture to show people that I actually got to hunt.
missed it. He
And
keeps telling everybody that he only got to see a glimpse of it and everything. I think he missed it.
I didn't miss it. I don't miss.
I think he missed it. He
I
missed.
haven't.
I mean, you missed 2 gobblers, 2 longbeards.
I've missed way more than that.
Well, exactly. Point proven. I think you've.
Before I killed my first deer, I missed 7. I
There
missed
you go.
$7 before I ever killed my first deer.
There it is, folks, right there. I don't think
I
he.
don't tell very many people that either.
I think he's lying to us. I think he missed that 200-inch deer, and
I didn't.
he's too sissy to tell us.
If I missed that deer, you'd know about it because I probably wouldn't be here right now. I'd probably be dead. I'd have jumped out of the tree.
Yeah, I think he's just telling fibs here. He missed the 200-inch deer.
Then last year in Arkansas, I also got to see probably a 150.
Yeah, I ticked at you last year. You passed up all those good deer just to go shoot like a 120-inch deer.
It
I was
was the
mad
end
at.
of the year though.
I
I
was
had to
still
tag
mad at you.
out.
You passed up like a 140 and a 150 to shoot a 120.
Yeah, but I was hunting a really big one.
And I'm down here and I shot a little bitty doe. That was it. I blew its back strap out with my 300 Went Mag.
Yeah. I'm tagging out this year with my bow though.
I want to shoot one with the pistol this year so bad I can't stand it.
I just don't interest me.
No, I don't even care what it is. It could be a doe. I just want to blow that sucker down with the pistol.
Mom's pretty content about hunting this year, and like usually she's like, "Yeah, I'll go hunt in the backyard and on the food plots." And like this year, she's like, "I'm gonna kill some." She said, "I'm just gonna think
Huh.
I'm putting meat in the freezer."
Well, she's going to get out there and kill your big whatever it
It won't
was.
surprise me if she don't kill the big wide one.
Yeah, you'll be out there. You'll get a call like, Michael, I shot a
And the
deer.
bad thing is that deer ain't go on that side of the highway.
She'll be over there, Michael, I shot a big deer. Da, 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 da. You're thinking, oh, yeah, just a little bitty 8-point basket
Yeah.
crack. Get
I
over
did
there.
have a
It's going to
big
be,
9 point back there last year in the
yeah,
food plot though.
you're going to get over there. It's going to be like a 150-inch 10-point, just big, just beefy
I'd be
sucker.
sick. But I would be more happy for her. Like the happiness for her shooting it would overdo the sickness.
Right.
Because I mean, for her, if she shot that as a first deer,
That'd be pretty awesome.
she'd be burnt.
Yeah. I see all these little kids shooting like 200+ inch deers and stuff, like going out of state and
That ain't
everything.
even right.
I was like, it's not even fair. Cause like,
They need to learn like we did and go hunt the mountains.
right. I mean, plus if you think about it, it's gonna ruin them. It's gonna spoil them because they're gonna think, man, 200-inch deer. I want something bigger than that. And
Yeah,
here in Arkansas, you're not getting anything bigger than 200-inch unless you're just, I mean, crazy. Like that's super rare.
yeah. I mean, in
Like
the lower part of the state, yes, but up here in the mountains,
maybe,
no.
yeah, like up here in the mountains now. But like Dad, he said, I think Dad's only told the story one time of seeing a deer that might have been 200-inch, and it was up there. He was headed home one night from work or something like that, and said that it was standing in the middle of a highway, and there's a limb hanging out, and it was breaking that limb off. Like some deer will reach up with their horns and break
Hmm.
limbs off. And he said it was just massive. He said it wasn't even right. He said the horns and stuff were just, it just didn't even look right.
I've seen one like
And he
that.
said as soon as his headlights hit it, he said he looked at him. He said he got a good glimpse of it, and then it took off. He said
Yeah.
no time to count it, nothing. He said it was just massive. Said he started hunting it and met a guy that was hunting the same deer, and that he was from way down south, way down south, and he come through here one night with his wife and seen that deer, and he was up here hunting it.
I don't blame him.
And yeah, and dad asked him, was like, "You after the same deer that I am?" And the guy was like, "Depends." Was he about? I think he named off some random number, and Dad was like, "Yep, that's probably the same deer."
Probably
And
the same one.
what's bad is it's a holler up there, and I know exactly where it's at. And but what's so bad about it? It's so thick that you can't hardly hunt it. There's so much
Mm-hmm.
briars and stuff. And even if you get up like in a stand and stuff, it's just so much underbrush that the deer could walk right underneath you. You never know.
I mean, that's one thing about these mountains up here is there's. I'm sure there is 200 inch.
Oh
Like
yeah,
I wouldn't say there's like. I'd say there might be one per county,
yeah.
but I mean they got so many nook and crannies they can hide in.
Right.
I mean they could. You could go hunt all day and there could be one walk behind you and you might not ever see
Yeah.
it.
And they're just smart enough to know, like
I think these deer that we hunt are way smarter than everybody else's deer.
yeah,
Because those deer I hunted in Missouri, they were stupid.
yeah.
Like the does around here. I mean, obviously I'm pretty rough on the does around my house. I let them have it because
She blows, she
I like deer
goes.
meat. But like I had a doe in Missouri that bedded under my tree all day. I sat in there all day because that stupid thing come in there and lay down under my tree.
Huh?
And my wind was swirling so bad, I dropped like milkweed or whatever, and it would just hit her in the nose, and she would just like flinch, like lick it off her nose, and then just keep sitting there. And she
Yeah.
never once acted like she wanted to bust me, and I was like, bro, you stupid.
Yeah. Down here in Arkansas, if you even thought about a doe, it could be in a field 100 yards away, or not even 100 yards, but like 500
Yeah,
yards, and you could think about her, and she would take off running and blowing.
I mean it's just like the day that deer we seen when we was leaving. That Joker was like 200 yards away up on that clear cut.
Yeah, and
And
it
we
took
just
off.
got out of the truck and it just took off running.
Yeah, we was not getting out of the truck to shoot the deer. We was getting out to look at the big turtle.
Yeah,
I should take a picture of that. That thing was
that
huge.
was a big turtle.
Yeah, it was like the size of my wheel.
Yeah.
It was massive.
But Illinois, I'm excited about Illinois.
Illinois, you're lucky for getting it, but it's so expensive. That's
It's
why.
really expensive.
Yeah. I would like to go elk hunting sometime. That would be
I
awesome.
do want to go elk
That's
hunting
my bucket
too.
list is elk hunting.
I want to go. I bought an owl point 2 nights ago, and
And
anyway, it them things aren't cheap either,
no, what are they?
especially just for a point.
Yeah, they're like $50,
They're
right?
$64 for a
64
point.
bucks. Dang.
But I want to go kill a 200 inch deer, so
Wow, that's what you gotta pay. You could just be like all them sissy boys and pay like 10,000 and go out to like a guaranteed ranch.
I ain't going to high fence. I want it to be wild.
You want it to be wild. I don't blame
I
you.
don't like them stupid high fence hunters. They're not stupid.
They're not stupid. It's just
They're just dumb for hunting that way.
yeah. It's not the fact like I don't blame them for doing it, but it's why would you pay $10,000 to kill a deer?
I mean, it'd be the same thing if I drove out in the field and just shot a big cow
Right.
coming up to a feeder. I mean, it's the exact same thing.
Yeah. It's not. It's not even really real hunting.
There's not even a chase involved. You just go sit in a box blind and let them come up there and
Right.
you shoot them.
That's the whole deal about hunting and stuff. It's not about just what you're killing. It's about the hunt itself.
Yeah.
It's thrilling to be like it's like turkey hunting. Turkey
Mm-hmm.
hunting's my favorite hunt. The reason why I like it so much is because it's so like heart pounding, I guess, or just thrilling. You get
I,
out there and you hear a big old long beard gobble, son. Your heartbeat will be racing so fast that you don't even know what's happening.
yeah. With
You know,
me, I'm not like, yes, I like to turkey hunt and I've killed a couple, but deer hunting is my thing. Like I put more time on money into deer hunting than I care to mention. Like as soon as I get out of this little situation that I'm in, I'm gonna go start scouting for deer because I need to find them, and I have an idea of where a couple big ones are from last year that I got pictures of. But
speaking of that, I gotta get some new cameras and stuff and get ready for this year. I'm gonna start probably end of July. Start going and scouting. That'll leave
yeah,
me all of August to find a
I
decent deer
usually start for this year since the velvet hunt. I'll start in June or the beginning of July.
in July.
As soon as camp meeting's over with, I'm gonna start looking because they usually got a pretty decent set by then.
Right. That's what I did last year. Right after camp meeting, I went and set up a camera back here behind the house in the food plot and had some decent like deer pictures walk through like eating out of the food plot.
Yeah,
But,
I never have big deer early season.
hmm.
I like
None of
last
these were
year.
very big. They were like like 6 points and stuff. They weren't big, but I mean they were decent.
Yeah,
Like I said, decent. Like if they would have hit 90 inches, that would have been
yeah. Like
big for
last
them.
year, I had one group that showed up the very end of August. They stayed from the last week in August and the first week of September. I had 6 bachelor bucks in a group, all grouped up, and they were, I mean, just dang consistent every single day. And I had 3 of them ended up staying around, and all 3 of them that stayed around got killed. So there's still 3 more somewhere. But
Right. Oh, I'm ready for deer season though this year.
I
It's
got
come
me a new
faster.
bow. I wanna put it to use this year.
Slay 'em.
I'm gonna put the new Matthews to use.
I'm hoping to level up a bunch this year. I want to get some. I gotta get some new cameras and stuff like that. But that's just regular stuff. But I want to I want to get a saddle stand.
Yeah,
Like my Goliath is nice and everything. It's comfortable, but for like packing it in and out of places, it's not very.
I don't. I've saddle hunted for like 3 years, and like yes, it is nice because it's light, but it's a lot of work. So this year, I am thinking about buying a super, super, super nice hang on that weighs like nothing, and then a nice set of climbing sticks and hunting that way. Because saddles are nice, but with me being like a bigger, taller guy, it's harder for me to sit in them things very long because my legs go numb and my
Yeah,
butt. It's not very comfortable, and I can hunt out of a hang on for all day. I mean, I've done it several days.
you ought to ask Nathan. He has. I guess he's got some pretty nice ones because he takes Levi
Yeah,
in them, and his actually look pretty sweet.
I have some, but all mine are stinking heavy.
Yeah,
They're not mobile ones. They're just go out there and set up and you leave them.
it would only be worth it to buy one like that if it was like lightweight, like you could just throw it in a backpack and go.
Yeah.
You know, had like 3 sticks. You can
Mm-hmm.
get like 15, 20 foot up in there. That's it.
Yeah.
That would be sweet.
I found some. I found one stand. I think it's a lone wolf. It's like it's just big enough for your feet to be on. And
Yeah.
then this new company, Cat, I think it's called Cat Tracks or something. Yeah, Cat Tracks. They make sticks, climbing sticks, and they're supposedly like they're made out of carbon fiber, and they're $159 a piece for
Ugh.
one 2 step. So for
Yeah.
4 of them, it's like $480 because they give you a little bit better deal because you're buying more than one.
I don't know about that.
But man, those are expensive. But I
I,
spent $1,000 on the bow, so
I think it would be more worth it just to buy the heavier, longer ones.
no, it ain't. I promise you, it ain't. I've tried with them; they suck.
I don't know. I just find me a good set, and I wouldn't worry about going above and beyond because I don't like buying that kind of stuff like that. That's so expensive because it's gonna be out in the woods and stuff, and I don't want to.
Mine won't. Like my mobile stuff, I don't leave in the woods.
Well, no, but like,
If I'm
like,
just hanging a set, I'll buy cheap crap.
yeah, no, I'm talking like just hunting stuff like in general because it's gonna be out in the woods and stuff, and I don't want to go spend $1,000 on something just for
Yeah,
it to get scratched up, and banged up.
I don't blame you.
Maybe if I was like gonna be like going out of state a lot, I need something I can just
Yeah,
throw in the back of the truck and go.
that's the reason I'm probably gonna end up buying a nicer set. Is
Right,
that way when I go out of state this year, I've got some decent stuff.
right.
I just got to get a kill on the board for out of state. I've yet to kill a deer out of state.
I've never even been out of state hunting. I've been out of state before, but not hunting.
I've been out of state hunting once. That's when I went to
I think
Missouri.
I've killed like a couple animals out of state. Killed a fly one time in Missouri and a mosquito in Alabama.
I killed a snake while we was up there in Missouri, but
See, we're on the board.
yeah, I mean,
Whether
I
it's
just
what we
don't got
want,
no deer blood on the board.
right? Whether it's what we want to or not, we're on the
Jason
board.
goes to Iowa the first time ever and shoots a 140-inch 11 point
All right.
and
Didn't he
ends up.
pass up a bigger buck? Cause he's
No, he
like,
didn't pass it. He was trying to kill it, but it wouldn't come into him.
ah,
It was a 180.
I'm ready to shoot a big buck with my 300 Win Mag. And then when I bought
Yeah,
it, you'd think that thing would kick, but it really doesn't kick at all. And
I
I
just
shot that little bitty doe. My aunt was wanting some meat, and so I was like, you know what? I haven't shot a deer with this. It was a private land doe hunt, and maybe it was the December. I don't remember. It was one of the private land, just doe hunts or something like that. I think it was private land doe hunt, like January
hmm
sometime. Anywhere, I don't remember when it was. Anyway, and I went down to the stand, and they come in there all the time, come and eat corn. And I was on my way down there, and I turned the curve right there in one of the trails, and there I could see it up there. I was like, man, can't get up there. So I just posted up against this tree, and boom! I mean, it just warps the ground. It don't even move. And I was expecting with that, 300 Win Mag,
yeah.
and I wasn't even gonna go check on it. I knew the thing was dead. The
Yeah.
300 Win Mag with that little bitty doe. I mean, it's
It
dead.
was
You
gonna
know.
blow it in half.
Yeah. So go get in the truck. Me and Dad's gonna take it to the packing house and go get it in the truck. Drive down there, and I blew a hole in the back of that thing. I mean, I'm talking like the size of a football. Just
Oh
blew a
yeah.
hole, and I guess I just hit right across the. I mean, right at the backbone. I guess. I guess I aimed a little high or something. I don't know. Anyways, and I mean, it blew like a, like a football out of the
Mhm.
back of it, and the way he was standing, I guess the deer stand, like the feeder leg was right behind it, blew a hole through the feeder leg too. I mean, so it went right through that deer and right through the feeder leg,
Man.
straight. No problem at all. Blew right through
Man.
that thing. But,
I don't know if Missouri if I'll go back to the same piece of public or not.
oh,
Hopefully you can go with me.
if I can go with you, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Go find us a rig.
Yeah, that's gonna be my. I don't think my old Chevy would make it over.
I don't know. We could test Stenard, but I don't know if Stenard would want to go that far or not.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
We've rented for a while.
Yeah. We could rent something, I guess.
Yeah, we could rent something.
Rent like a
Will they rent to an 18-year-old kid though? Well, I'll be 19 by then.
surely.
I hope so.
You'd think so, because you're legally an adult. I don't know. You
Basically.
could look around. I bet you could find a place. If not, you could find a person that would rent you something.
Yeah.
You know, be like, hey, can I borrow your truck for like 3 days?
Maybe I can rent Ronnie's Ford. Ronnie Level.
Maybe.
I doubt it.
Yeah.
I just wonder what me and Jason's gonna take to Illinois though.
He may end up buying a new truck by then.
I doubt it.
Yeah, probably not.
Probably take the old feed wagon.
The feed wagon. He'd be up there on the interstate just
Oh.
feed flying off, feed
Those of you
sacks
that
flying
don't
out
know, it's
behind
a
you.
2500 Chevy that's straight pipe with a feed box on it.
It's a gasser. That thing
It's loud.
roars. Yeah. Well, I think we should call her there.
Yeah, we might ought to.
Yeah, people are probably getting tired of listening to us by
More than
now.
likely. We're
If
a
they
bunch of
last this
idiots
long, if y'all
anyway.
lasted this long, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Leave a like, subscribe if you want.
Yeah.
You don't have to, but if you want to,
No,
yeah,
they have to. If they listen this far, they have to.
yeah. Well, I guess we can call it there. We'll see y'all on the next one. Well, sorry we was having conversation, but anyway, we'll see y'all on the next one. Thanks for listening. Keep your eyes out for us, and go live a country boy's life.
Have a good life.
See y'all on the next one.